Today's news highlights 20250721. Date July 21, 2025. Republic of China July 21, 114. Time cutoff point, 1500 hours on the same day. News highlights by Bingbing recently visited Beishaitan Mazu and filmed a new song MV, saying that in recent years, he often forgets the East and West, and once couldn't remember the name of his friend Ni Kaiman, which caused concerns about dementia. Physician Liao Jialan pointed out that occasionally recognizing people but not being able to call them by name is normal aging, and if the frequency increases and it is difficult to remember daily trivial tasks, it may be a precursor to mild cognitive impairment or dementia. It is recommended to maintain brain health through memory training, a balanced diet, regular work and rest, and medical evaluation. News highlights mung beans are not only a common ingredient among Asians, but have also become a popular superfood in Europe and the United States in recent years. Nutritionists pointed out that mung beans are high in protein, low in fat, and rich in dietary fiber, which can help control sugar and lose weight, and are also a friendly ingredient for diabetics. Mung beans are classified as a staple food in Taiwan, but have been regarded as a source of protein in the United States and other countries. In addition, mung beans also have natural emulsifying ability and are an important raw material for making plant-based eggs. Paired with other legumes or nuts, it can complement protein intake, making it a nutritious and versatile dietary choice. News highlights the latest report from the Hudson Institute in the United States, China after the CCP, pointed out that the CCP regime is facing internal and external difficulties, and its collapse may happen overnight. The United States has drawn up a complete response script, including military stabilization operations, regional engagement strategies, and 5 major democracy projects to help China move towards democratic transformation. The report emphasizes that the goal of the United States is to assist in stabilization and reconstruction, not occupation, and recommends the establishment of a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to deal with historical pain. Experts believe that the collapse of the CCP is a matter of time, not a fantasy. News highlights Japan held a Senate election on July 20, and the ruling coalition decided to lose control of the Senate, which dealt a major political blow to Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba. Although it will not immediately lead to the collapse of the government, Ishiba will face pressure from a no-confidence motion. Soaring prices and tariff negotiations have affected public opinion, and the opposition party's focus on tax cuts and welfare expansion has won voter support. Analysts believe that the Liberal Democratic Party has made mistakes on key economic issues, and voters have turned to opposition. Shigeru Ishiba expressed his willingness to continue as Prime Minister and emphasized the importance of Japan-US trade negotiations. News highlights on July 19, about 1,500 Taiwanese Falun Gong practitioners held the 26th anniversary of anti-persecution event in Taipei, calling for the dissolution of the CCP to stop the persecution of Falun Gong. Legislators and the public expressed their solidarity and condemned the CCP's live organ harvesting and human rights violations. Many legislators emphasized that freedom of belief is a basic value of a democratic society and should work together to stop the CCP's atrocities. Through parades and candlelight memorials, the event commemorates the persecuted dead and reveals the CCP's continued cross-border crackdown on the world. Participants emphasized that the concepts of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance should be respected, hoping to awaken society's attention to human rights issues. News highlights great heat is the hottest solar term of the year, around the dog days, high temperatures, and high humidity, which can easily cause physical weakness. Traditional Chinese medicine advocates winter disease and summer treatment, which is a good time to nourish the spleen and stomach, strengthen the spleen and dampness, and enhance yang energy. Dietary supplements include pumpkin porridge, sweet potato, lotus seed powder porridge, ginger eggs, chicken and ginger porridge, red bean and barley soup, Four Gods soup, old duck winter melon soup, etc. Folk customs such as drinking summer sheep and 2-volt noodles also contain health wisdom, reminding that supplementation according to physical constitution and health preservation should be persevering in order to achieve healthcare effects. News highlights affected by the central bank's 7th wave of credit controls and policies. Housing prices in Taiwan were revised down across the board in the second quarter of 2025, with all 7 major metropolitan areas showing a downward trend and Tainan and Taichung falling by more than 2%. Experts pointed out that the cooling of housing prices is a technical correction caused by the policy, the transaction volume has reached a record low, and the bargaining space has expanded, which is a good opportunity for owner-occupants to enter the market. However, in the long run, the housing market still has the characteristics of asset preservation, and although only rising and not falling has been questioned, the myth may not be dispelled, and housing prices are still supported by capital and technological development. News highlights Zawi, an esports brand under BenQ Dentsu, has set up the first European esports sports science laboratory in the Netherlands, combining ergonomics and data analysis to create personalized training and equipment for players. The laboratory uses precise measurement of hand movements and muscle fatigue to help improve competition performance. Zawi has taken this opportunity to penetrate into the mature European esports market and strengthen cooperation with academia and teams. BenQ emphasizes hardware is king and continues to create high-performance equipment, hoping to become the best competitive partner for athletes through technology and data. News highlights Nvidia's market capitalization exceeded $4 trillion, ranking first in the world, reflecting its dominance in the AI chip market. As the US-China technology confrontation heats up, the Chinese market has become the key that Nvidia cannot give up. CEO Huang Rongsun visited China again, highlighting the strategic balance under geopolitics. China's huge AI demand and dependence on the CUDA ecosystem have enabled Nvidia to actively maintain market connections. Despite facing US export restrictions and the rise of local competitors, Nvidia seeks to maintain its global leadership between restrictions and opportunities. News highlights Taiwan stocks hit a new high of 23,468 points last week, and the bull structure took shape, and the double rolling market is expected to challenge 24,000 points. TSMC's legal theory was better than expected, alleviating concerns about the appreciation of the new Taiwan dollar and tariffs, and the continued high of US stocks, enhancing market confidence. Foreign capital of legal persons continues to make up, retail securities lending and lending increase, and double rolling pressure appears. The demand for the AI supply chain is strong, and the legal person estimates that the single quarter profit of listed companies in the second half of the year will reach 1 trillion yuan, and the annual profit will be about 4 trillion yuan, becoming the main bull force. The technical side shows that the rebound has rebounded, and the Taiwan stock market outlook is optimistic about challenging the historical high of 24,416 points. News highlights Trump's political career has benefited from voters' antipathy to Washington's elites, Biden's health concerns, and Wall Street anxiety, but the recent Epstein scandal, the White House's disclosure of his incomplete health and threats to the Federal Reserve have become three major obstacles. Musk broke the news that Trump was involved in the Epstein case, causing voters to be dissatisfied with the Department of Justice's failure to release details. The Wall Street Journal accused Trump of writing sexually suggestive letters, which he denied and sued. The White House admitted that Trump had chronic venous insufficiency. Trump has repeatedly pressured the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates, facing criticism from Democrats, and his cabinet's cryptocurrency investment issues have also affected his policy push. News highlights TSMC's 2nm production capacity is tight, and it plans to increase its monthly production from 4 to 10 pieces next year and reach 20 pieces in 2027, driving the demand for peripheral consumables to double. Key material factories such as Shenyang Ban, Zhongsha, and Xinyun will benefit. Shenyang Semi is actively expanding its recycled wafer production capacity, targeting 80 wafers this year and 95 wafers in 2026, with a year-on-year increase of more than 30% in the first half of the year. The production capacity of diamond discs and recycled wafers in China Sand expanded simultaneously, and Xinyun's advanced packaging and recycled wafer business grew, with revenue continuing to reach new highs. News highlights exit polls for Japan's Senate election show that the ruling coalition Liberal Democratic Party and Komeito are likely to lose their majority, a new low since 1999, and Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba's leadership is being challenged. Although Shigeru Ishiba stated that he would not resign, he needs to rely on the support of the opposition party to promote policies. The election has triggered fluctuations in the yen exchange rate and bond markets, and the market is concerned that rising prices do not match wage growth, and the votes of right-wing emerging parties have surged. Trade negotiations with the United States will begin in August, with tariffs and defense spending issues as the focus of the future. News highlights since July, Taipei City has changed the name of bathing and cleaning in the personal assistance service for people with disabilities to cleaning and washing/wiping, which has caused criticism from people with disabilities and scholars to limit their right to independent living, which may cause a gap in care. The high threshold for subsidies for rehabilitation buses has also been questioned as insensitive to subsidies, coupled with insufficient barrier-free facilities and difficulty in writing, highlighting the limitations in the lives of people with disabilities. City councillors called for the resumption of bathing services, a review of policy design, and the implementation of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. The North City government stated that the adjustment is in line with the central policy, emphasizing that it will continue to review and improve relevant measures. News highlights Gao Qiaojun, chairman of the Critical Care Medicine Association of the Republic of China and professor of Lingkao Chonggung, passed out in the office on July 20 at the age of 59, shocking and mourning the medical community. He has been involved in critical care, respiratory care, and education for many years, laying the foundation for critical care in Taiwan. A friend revealed that he had a stent installed due to cardiovascular problems and still adheres to the front line of clinical practice. Colleagues in the medical field expressed their condolences, praising him as a leader and selfless devotee in critical care. News highlights today, 21st, affected by the outer cloud system and large low-pressure zone of Typhoon Bapa, there is short-term heavy rainfall and thunderstorms in Taiwan, especially in the mountainous areas of Huadong, Greater Taipei, and the south. Meteorological expert Wu Durong pointed out that the atmosphere will continue to be unstable in the coming week, and a tropical depression is likely to form in the eastern waters of the Philippines on the 23rd, and a potential typhoon will turn north from the east side of Taiwan this week. News highlights: the 77-year-old godfather of circulation Su Chong-gren posted a 1,000-character post on Facebook yesterday, 20th, evening, titled "The Last Line of Defense to Protect Taiwan's Democracy," publicly supporting the upcoming legislative recall vote on July 26. He emphasized that this recall vote should not be regarded as a political party dispute, but a reaffirmation of the democratic system by the people, and called on voters to stand up and protect Taiwan with actions. The article dropped a political shock bomb 6 days before the election, triggering heated discussions. News highlights: the People's Party held an anti-recall rally in front of the Central Party headquarters of the Democratic Progressive Party yesterday, 20th, announcing that 2 people participated in the scene, and Huang Qiaoqing and others appeared to help. However, internet celebrity four-pronged cat Liu Yuxi posted aerial photos pointing out that the number of people at the scene was only about 1,500, questioning the People's Party's exaggerated numbers and accusing the People's Party of stealing its aerial images without indicating the source, causing controversy. News highlights: in Kaohsiung's Xiaogang district, late at night on the 19th, a silver SUV reversed and hit multiple parked passenger cars, and the driver fled. At the time of the incident, some people took a video of the crash and uploaded it to the internet, but the police asked for deletion in a private message, saying that the investigation is not public to avoid other incidents, and even the owner of the hit car was asked to withdraw the video, causing controversy. The Kaohsiung City Police Department also stated that it would conduct an internal review, emphasizing that the non-public investigation norm does not apply to the general public. News highlights: the 44-year-old Edison Chen restrained a lot after marriage, but recently a series of disputes broke out at the airport, which attracted attention. Some netizens witnessed him being dissatisfied with the flight attendants due to the order of disembarkation, and then suspected of having a conflict with others at the airport and called the police. Many netizens still support him, believing that celebrities are also ordinary people and should be given more space. News highlights: popular singer Gugu, Liu Siwei, appeared at the Niahudaquan Thanksgiving Tea Party as a former employee today, reminiscing about his part-time work experience as a cashier in a hypermarket when he was a student. He put on a red vest and pinned his old employee ID card, causing a surprise at the scene. Gugu shared the hard work of attending classes during the day, working part-time at night, and practicing on holidays, and also helped customers check out on the spot, challenging the 5-minute checkout task, and was so nervous that he was sweating, laughing that he had never checked out the bill back then. News highlights: Zhu Xiaotian recently started singing in Nanjing, and when he sang the theme song of Meteor Garden Love is Unavoidable, he emotionally recalled the late Big S, saying that her kindness and strength were important memories in F4's life. Mentioned that Zhou Yumin once lamented that this song is no longer happy, which made the atmosphere sad. Zhu Xiaotian also revealed that the F4 merger project is still being promoted, hoping to continue fans' deep feelings for the characters in the play and Big S. News highlights: YouTuber Trampoline, Liu Yuquan, recently gave an exclusive interview, rarely talking about feelings and marriage, revealing that he had a flash marriage with his girlfriend in Vietnam, got engaged within half a year, took wedding photos, and even hosted a table banquet, and finally broke up because he realized that the woman might be cheating on her pregnancy. He then got engaged to his current wife, Lightning, and the two have been married for 7 years and have a son. The Trampoline laughed and said that the marriage came from impulsiveness, and also admitted that he regretted getting married, but the couple had complementary personalities and different life circles, which made the relationship stable to this day. News highlights: Zhang Shuhao and Yu Yang Nini have a 6-month-old son Mumu, who is plagued by eye droppings and tears due to blocked nasolacrimal ducts. After the couple's attempts at potions and massages were ineffective, they decided to undergo surgery. The operation took only 5 minutes, no surgery was required, and the effect was remarkable, and the eyes were refreshed after the operation. Zhang Shuhao cried heartbroken for his beloved son during the surgery, and thanked the doctor for his excellent medical skills and shared his experience, hoping to help other new parents understand this common symptom and how to deal with it. News highlights: Fang Dongshen's team's new program Truth Guessing, Love, and Search will be broadcast on Jade Channel from July 21st, with the first episode focusing on the mystery of Bruce Lee's sudden death. Bruce Lee died suddenly 52 years ago, and the official believed that the cause of death was cerebral edema caused by drugs, but there are many theories circulating among the people. The program conducts in-depth investigations, interviews key witnesses and experts, exposes never-before-seen medical records and confidential government documents, and discloses for the first time the suspicions of emergency physician Mai Haixiang and the investigation process of Super Dragon fan Li Ziwen, hoping to restore the truth of Bruce Lee's death. News highlights: 67-year-old Grasshopper Prince Li Shuquan announced that he would return to Taiwan on July 26 to participate in the recall vote, and called on the public to cherish Taiwan's democratic values, emphasizing that they are still a family after the election, which sparked widespread discussion. The post was supported by many netizens, but there were also voices questioning his participation in Taiwan's elections while overseas. Li Shuquan was famous for Huawei, and later moved to the technology and education circles, with experience spanning NASA and Hollywood, and is now the head of the department at Canaan University, showing a diverse life. News highlights Fubon Titan AI goddess Li Zejun will turn 21 years old, and will hold a birthday fan meeting on the 20th, and the first photo will be released on the spot. She with Korean professional player Park Sojong broke out of a relationship, and the Korean internet went viral with an intimate photo of the two in a suspected small tent showing their affection, which sparked heated discussions among fans. Although some fans collapsed and lost their fans, most netizens thought that the two looked right and sent blessings, believing that she had a partner for reasonable development. News highlights the Kuomintang legislator recall bill will be voted on July 26, and Su Chong-gren, former president of the All China Federation, issued a message late at night, calling on voters to stand up and protect Taiwan's sovereignty, democracy, and freedom, emphasizing that this is a reaffirmation of democracy. DPP legislator Wang Dingyu called this recall a national salvation movement in cooperation between the Taiwan faction and the Republic of China faction, not a simple political party showdown, but a countermeasure to the chaos in the legislative yuan and pro-China forces. Su Chong-gren criticized the opposition party for abusing legislative power and undermining procedural justice, emphasizing that the recall is a legitimate expression of dissatisfaction with public opinion. News highlights Gao Qiujin, attending physician of the Department of Thoracic Medicine at Lingkao Chonggung Hospital and chairman of the Critical Care Medicine Association of the Republic of China, passed away peacefully on July 20 at the age of 59. The Medical Association issued an obituary to commemorate his contributions to the acute and critical care and resilience program. Gao Qiujin had fainted a year ago, and recently fell to the ground again, and died after first aid failed. Graduated from Taipei Medical University, specializing in chronic cough, asthma, and lung cancer, and has held many important positions in Lingkao Chonggung, committed to improving the quality of critical care in Taiwan, which deeply saddens the medical community. News highlights the Taiwan billiards men's team defeated the Chinese team 3-2 in the gold medal match of the 2025 Rhein-Ruhr World Universiade team competition in Germany, winning the gold medal of the Universiade for the first time in team history, ending the Chinese team's 7-game winning streak. Feng Yuxin contributed 2 key points. Gao Chengrui lost both points due to the opponent's tactical defeat, and after the game, he couldn't hide his loss and cried and blamed himself for his poor performance, thanking his teammates for shouldering the heavy responsibility. Gao Chengrui will participate in individual, men's doubles and mixed doubles events in the future, and looks forward to continuing to win glory for Taiwan. News highlights a tragedy occurred in a community in Baitan, Taichung on the evening of the 19th, when a 1-year-old baby boy and his father accidentally fell in a mechanical parking space, and the baby boy died from a pinched head injury. The mechanical parking space has not obtained a legal use permit and has a serious failure record as early as 2 to 3 years ago, causing damage to the vehicle but not improving it. The police investigation found that the neighbor may have mistakenly pressed the device start button, and the accident became the focus of the prosecutor's investigation. The city government has ordered the equipment to be suspended and will be fined in accordance with the law, and the family members criticized the safety negligence and requested a comprehensive overhaul to avoid a recurrence of the tragedy. News highlights many people choose to eat a frugal diet to save money, but certain habits can increase the risk of cancer. Dr. Lingkao Chonggung reminded that eating moldy or expired food will ingest aflatoxin, which may cause liver cancer in the long term. Too many processed foods are high in salt, sugar, and additives, which increase the risk of cancer and cardiovascular disease. Excessive red meat intake is associated with colorectal cancer, and it is recommended to limit it to 500 grams per week. A high sugar diet can easily lead to obesity and indirectly increase the risk of various cancers. Irregular diet and overeating can easily irritate the gastric mucosa and increase the risk of gastric cancer. Insufficient fiber intake can reduce gut health, so it is recommended to eat more whole grains and fruits and vegetables to prevent cancer. News highlights in August last year, He Yuan paid 1 million yuan in aftermath fees due to a fire at her mother's and sister's rental house, but the landlord subsequently claimed 600 yuan for decoration fees, which made her feel unreasonable and decided to hand it over to a lawyer. She has been responsible for her family's expenses alone for many years, but the pressure of fire compensation has led to mental weakness, heart accumulation, and other health problems. He Yuan accused her mother of not actively facing it and hoped that the real perpetrators would be held accountable. She has reconciled with her family and will not talk about it in the future. News highlights 45-year-old Ms. Zhou has been overeating lunch for a long time, resulting in weight stagnation. After implementing the 300 kilocalories breakfast plan, she lost 4 kilograms in half a month and experienced that if you eat breakfast right, you will not be hungry all day. Nutritionist Fang Fang suggests that breakfast should contain carbohydrates, protein, and dietary fiber, with a ratio of about 6:3:1, and a combination of boiled eggs, whole wheat toast, and cherry tomatoes is recommended. The 3 breakfast combinations include savory, sweet, and eat out, all focusing on balanced nutrition and satiety. It is recommended to prepare meals on weekends, make good use of frozen berries and electronic scales, and replace ingredients to increase variety. Breakfast is not only a heat, but also an energy switch for the body. News highlights the most beautiful prosecutor Chen Hanshang announced that he will officially resign at the end of August, ending his 12-year career as a prosecutor, moving to the legal profession, and plans to establish a new firm including 5 former prosecutors and judges to provide a full range of legal services. He said that this change of track is not due to setbacks or salary issues, but hopes to try different possibilities, fulfill the dream of his brothers in college, and build the ideal office. Chen Hansang emotionally expressed his reluctance to part with his status as a prosecutor, but his life is limited, and he is willing to try in many ways. Fans wished him well in his new venture and looked forward to the completion of his dream office. News highlights: former Chuanlian Industrial President Su Chongren publicly supported the recall vote this Saturday, 26th, on social platforms on the evening of July 20th, calling on the public to stand up and protect Taiwan's democracy. He pointed out that although the president and the legislative yuan are controlled by different camps, and democratic checks and balances should promote government governance, the opposition parties have obstructed policies in the past 6 months, and even have been ambiguous with China's power, threatening Taiwan's sovereignty and democratic foundations. Su Chongren emphasized that recall is the right of citizens to supervise the people's representatives, and called on the people to exercise their right to vote rationally and protect Taiwan's freedom and democracy. The post quickly received more than 10,000 likes and support. News highlights: the Taiwan team defeated the Chinese team 3-2 in the men's team final of the 2025 Rhein-Ruhr World Universiade and won the first men's team gold medal in team history. The key fifth point, Feng Yuxin, performed well, successfully turning the tables from 1-2 down and contributing 2 wins. The game was intense, with both sides scoring alternately, and finally the Taiwan team broke the fate of silver medals for many years, writing a new page in history, showing strong strength and teamwork spirit. News highlights: the 2025 Taipei International Aerospace and Defense Industry Exhibition will debut in September, and the Ministry of National Defense will participate in the National Defense Pavilion, but the high-profile extended-range Yuzhan missile system with a range of up to 400 kilometers will still not be publicly unveiled to prevent information leakage. Although it was planned to show the magazine last year, it was ultimately cancelled. During this year's Hangong 41 exercise, President Li Qiang personally witnessed the unveiling of the extended-range Xiansan launch vehicle, showing that the missile is larger and has a longer range, estimated to reach 400 kilometers, significantly improving the anti-ship combat power of the National Army. The military said that the extended-range Yuzhan may not be released to the public until the 2027 Aerospace Exhibition. News highlights: National Taiwan Normal University women's football coach Zhou Taiying was accused of forcing players to cooperate with research and blood draws, otherwise they would not be able to obtain credits. Huang Xiangxian, chairman of the National Acting and Substitute Teachers Industry Union, publicly supported it, calling on the education community to support Jian Qishan and invite her to teach as an intern, emphasizing that the education industry needs such outstanding talents, and warned that if someone uses the relationship to affect her teaching career, she will be publicly exposed and countered. News highlights: Kei Wenz, former chairman of the People's Party, was detained and banned for nearly 11 months due to the Jinghua City volume case and political donation case, and recently received a notice of recall vote. His wife, Chen Paiqi, said she would vote not agree with the recall. People's Party chairman Huang Qiuaqing criticized the government's absurdity, on the one hand, sent voting notices, on the other hand, deprived Kei of his voting rights, questioned the Li Qiang government's black humor, and has entrusted a legal team to take legal action to protect Kei's voting rights, calling on the court to stop detention and protect basic human rights. The post was exposed but accidentally leaked Kei's private voting information, causing heated discussions among netizens. News highlights: the U.S. House of Representatives recently passed a Taiwan-related amendment prohibiting the Department of Defense and the executive branch from producing, procuring, or displaying maps that designate Taiwan and its affiliated islands into Chinese territory, emphasizing the need to display honest maps. Proposer Tiffany pointed out that Taiwan is a sovereign and independent country with a democratic government and military, and called for the abandonment of the outdated and dishonest One China policy. This move responds to China's long-term dwarfing of Taiwan's sovereignty and international suppression, demonstrating the United States' continued support for Taiwan's sovereignty and democracy. News highlights: former All-China President Su Chongren issued a document late at night on the 20th in support of the July 26 recall, criticizing the opposition party for disregarding national interests, using numerical superiority to obstruct government governance, and even maintaining ambiguous relations with China, challenging the foundation of Taiwan's democracy. He called on the public to come out and exercise their right to vote, emphasizing that this is an important test related to the stability of the national system and value choices. After Su Wen's exposure, it sparked enthusiastic responses from netizens, who praised him for speaking out for Taiwan, and many politicians forwarded their support. News highlights: People's Party legislator Lin Qiuaqing was emotional during the anti-recall campaign and scolded President Li Qiang in 3 words, criticizing the control of the judiciary and the media, causing an uproar at the scene. Party colleague Huang Shanshan also laughed at his poor temperament. Lin Qiuaqing later apologized on Facebook, saying that his emotions were out of control and called on the public to vote on July 26, but netizens generally did not buy it and left messages criticizing his behavior for being disqualified. The DPP severely condemned and demanded a public apology from the People's Party. News highlights: recently, an incident occurred at Taipei's Warm Beef Hot Pot restaurant where employees beat people at neighboring tables for talking about politics, which sparked widespread discussion in the society. Former lawmaker Guoji, Chu Wujia, pointed out that freedom of speech is an unconditional right enjoyed by everyone, and the wrong thing is to use violence to restrict others' speech, and criticize the current society's misunderstanding of freedom of speech and the trend of restricting qualifications from others' speech. He emphasized that the problem is not about talking about politics in the restaurant, but about violently suppressing different voices, calling on society to return to rational discussion, and avoiding a divisive atmosphere in which the party fights against differences. News highlights: affected by the peripheral circulation and low-pressure zone of Typhoon Bapa, the probability of rainfall in Taiwan is high today, 21st, and the Central Meteorological Administration issued a special heavy rain advisory for 5 counties and cities including Taitung and Hualien, and Taitung must be prepared for heavy rain. Weather anchor Lin Jiakai said that the rain decreased on Tuesday and Wednesday but there were still showers. Another tropical disturbance is forming, and it is expected that it may approach Taiwan on Friday, and the path is unstable, and it still needs to be observed. Meteorological experts pointed out that the tropical disturbance has the opportunity to intensify into a light typhoon, affecting Taiwan's weather. News highlights: the idol boy group F4 recently joined forces at the May Day concert, and after 16 years, they appeared at the Dome again, triggering warm memories among fans. Zhu Xiaotian revealed in a solo performance in China on the 19th that when discussing song selection with the members, he mentioned the theme song Love Must Be Love, and Zhou Yuman sighed that this song will never be happy again because Ziwan is gone, which made the atmosphere of the scene heavy. Zhu Xiaotian even talked about the late actress S. Su Ziwan, in the live broadcast, saying that she was an important link in F4, and revealed her true feelings. We all loved her in different ways when we were young, which is an emotion that transcends love, which deeply moved fans. News highlights: the Taiwan billiards men's team defeated the Chinese team 3-2 in the gold medal match of the 2025 Rhein-Ruhr World Universiade team in Germany, breaking China's record of seeking 7 consecutive championships and setting the first gold medal in team history. Feng Yuxin scored 2 points alone to become the key to victory, but national player Gao Chengrui lost 2 points due to the opponent's targeted tactics, and he blamed himself for his poor performance and couldn't hide his tears, thanking his teammates for supporting him to win the gold. After the game, Gao Chengrui said that he was under great pressure and could not fulfill his responsibilities but would continue to challenge the individual, men's doubles and mixed doubles events. News highlights: the 2025 Taipei International Aerospace and Defense Industry Exhibition will debut in September, and the Ministry of National Defense will jointly form the National Defense Pavilion by the Chinese Academy of Sciences, the Armaments Bureau, and various arsenals to participate in the exhibition. The extended-range Yuzhan missile system with a range of 400 kilometers is highly anticipated, but in order to prevent intelligence leakage, the military said it will not be unveiled publicly this time. The extended-range Xiansan missile was exposed in the Hangong 41 exercise, and the range was greatly increased to 400 kilometers, demonstrating the independent strength of national defense, but the public display may be postponed to 2027. News highlights: the Taipei District Court heard a dispute over the distribution of her mother's inheritance, and the eldest daughter Shufen was authorized to manage her property because she took care of her mother, sold 6 TSMC shares to pay for pension and inheritance tax, and was sued by her siblings for embezzlement. The court found that she did not seek her own benefit and found her not guilty. This case has sparked heated discussions in the community, reflecting the practical contradictions and family entanglements in the distribution of family inheritance in Taiwan, especially caregivers often become victims of property disputes. Netizens are also concerned about the high burden of inheritance tax and complex distribution procedures, believing that the system has become a fuse for family disputes. News highlights: the U.S. House of Representatives passed the Department of Defense Appropriations Act for fiscal year 2026, which prohibits the Department of Defense from displaying maps that include Taiwan and its affiliated islands in Chinese territory. The amendment, proposed by Republican Congressman Tiffany, emphasizes that Taiwan is a sovereign and independent democracy and opposes the outdated and misleading One China policy. The amendment prohibits the use of any map that mistakenly considers Taiwan as part of China and calls on the U.S. executive branch to show honest maps. The bill also includes $500 million in military aid to Taiwan, but it is yet to be reviewed by the Senate and signed by the President. News highlights: Charlie Cao, the legendary king of tertiary films in the Hong Kong film industry, has not appeared in public for nearly a year, and was hospitalized for 8 days due to sudden paralysis of the body last year. He said that his condition has improved and he faces life and death with an open-minded attitude. Charlie Cao was active in the 80s and 90s, starring in many classic films, and later moved to tertiary films, deeply rooted in the hearts of the people with his unique role. Now settled in Sichuan, although he has faded out of the entertainment industry, he is still active in the community and accepts invitations, and his popularity has not diminished. News highlights: Wu Shenjiu, a consultant at Weather Risk Company, said that Taiwan will continue to be affected by the monsoon low-pressure trough in the near future, and the weather will be unstable and rainy for at least 2 weeks. In the coming week, a low-pressure system may develop in the southeast, and even become a tropical depression or typhoon, which will have a greater impact on the east and north, and thunderstorms are also likely to occur in the afternoon in the western half. The system is expected to move north over the weekend, but the monsoon low-pressure trough will still extend and affect Taiwan, making it difficult to alleviate rainfall conditions. It is expected that the Pacific high pressure will return in early August, bringing more typical summer weather. The public needs to continue to pay attention to subsequent weather changes. News highlights: Hong Kong star Zhou Zhentao and Malaysian singer Huang Mingzi took a group photo at Genting, causing controversy. Zhou Zhentao quickly issued a statement to clarify, emphasizing that he did not know the other party's background and stood firm in his patriotic stance, and cut off his personal relationship with Huang Mingzi. Huang Mingzi deleted the group photo and responded that it was to maintain the peace and stability of the motherland, calling on netizens to stop questioning and criticizing Hong Kong netizens for their excessive words and deeds. The incident reflects the sensitive political atmosphere between the entertainment industry and online public opinion. News highlights: a 27-year-old female officer surnamed Ye from the Sueo Naval Zhongzheng base was on vacation and crashed into a guardrail and caught fire, burning to a charred body on the spot. Witnesses hurriedly rescued her, but due to the twisted body of the car and the fierce fire, they could not pull her out, and finally witnessed her being engulfed in flames, which was reluctant. When the fire brigade arrived, the fire was out of control, and the detailed cause of the accident is still to be investigated. This tragedy has aroused social concern, and many netizens have expressed their condolences and support for witnesses. News highlights: Sharma, a 35-year-old businessman weighing 175 kilograms in India, died suddenly of cardiac arrest while exercising in the gym. On the day of the incident, he drank a cup of black coffee before exercising, and suddenly fell to the ground about 2 minutes after upper limb training and triceps stretching. Experts analyze that for heart patients, caffeine intake before exercise and lack of warm-up may cause arrhythmias and cardiac arrest. Doctors remind patients with chronic diseases to consult a doctor first and avoid high-intensity exercise. News highlights: following the merger of Shinkong Gold and Taishan Gold and the dispute over Shinkong Mitsukoshi's management rights, founder Wu Huaxi's illegitimate daughter Chen Ziding filed a lawsuit demanding the distribution of tens of billions of inheritance. Chen Ziding recognized her relatives in 2005 and filed a lawsuit, and last year the Supreme Court ruled that she was Wu Huaxi's biological daughter. The 6 children of the Wu family have expressed their willingness to mediate, but whether Shinkong Group's huge market value and property scope are included in the estate still needs to be clarified by Chen Ziding. News highlights: Amnesty Day is regarded as the most auspicious day of the year to change good luck, meaning God forgives disasters, which is suitable for eliminating disasters and seeking wealth. There will be a total of 6 Amnesty Days in 2025, the next one will be July 24th, which is suitable for worshipping the Jade Emperor, saying good words, doing good deeds, and preparing offerings such as vegetarian biscuits, longan, and gold paper for the repentance ceremony. That day is also a good time to replenish your treasury. You can change your wallet, cut your hair, or make money to help your fortune, which is an excellent time for transshipment and blessings. News highlights: this Tuesday, the sun enters Leo, ushering in the unity and self-expression of young people, and the atmosphere is lively. The opposition between the sun and the dark brings opposition and checks and balances, and the balance of power is the key. The gold and fire square reminds that relationships are easily disturbed by emergencies or rotten peach blossoms. Aries takes the initiative to meet challenges and has no intention of feeling. Cancer has the help of auspicious planets to attract stable partners. Scorpio needs to relax to avoid emotional disappointment. Pisces sensitivity is a hindrance. Gemini's career is suitable for acquaintances to cooperate, and the same is true for feelings. The Lion should stop watching and listening, and the feelings will settle. Virgins bring new people, and their feelings are disturbed. Libra sticks to principles, and feelings focus on work first. Taurus meets noble people in the workplace, and the relationship has an elder relationship. The shooter's career is showing a new situation, and the relationship is expected to get rid of singles. Capricorn is valued by the boss, and the relationship needs to be charming. Aquarius has many peach blossoms in the workplace, and emotional sparks come from the work circle. News highlights: according to Megabank's statistics on overseas card consumption in the second quarter of this year, Switzerland won the championship with a growth rate of 280%, far surpassing South Korea, 26%, and Australia, 25%, while consumption in Japan unexpectedly fell by 6%. The reasons include community rumors affecting travel preferences, the depreciation of the Japanese currency and the appreciation of the Taiwan dollar, making high-cost countries such as Switzerland more favored. Megabank promotes overseas credit card discounts, enjoying up to 3.1% rebate and travel channel credit card credits, attracting tourists to make good use of credit cards, enhancing overseas consumption convenience and discounts, suitable for people who love to travel to seize the discounts. News highlights: the first wave of recall voting will be held on the 26th, and People's Party Chairman Huang Qiuqing publicly criticized the voting notice sent by the DPP to former party chairman Kei Wen's, who was detained in the Dujin detention center, and questioned that the Liking government's notification of the right to vote but not allowing them to vote is black humor. K's wife Chen Piki said that she would appoint a lawyer to apply for the right to vote after being released from prison, and Huang Qiaoqing also announced that he would take legal action, calling on the court to uphold the principle of the rule of law, protect K Wen's basic human rights, and hope to stop the detention as soon as possible. This incident has aroused concern about human rights and voting rights issues. News highlights: Bloomberg reported that Apple's folding phone iPhone Fold is expected to come out in 2026, and although it is launched late, it is expected to become a market leader. The report said that Apple will not pursue technological breakthroughs, but will improve the hinge design, reduce screen creases, and optimize software functions. The iPhone Fold is equipped with an inner screen of about 7.8 inches and an external screen of about 5.5 inches, and the thickness is about 9 to 9.5 mm when folded and about 4.5 to 4.8 mm when unfolded. The price is estimated to be about $2,000. This machine is expected to stimulate Apple's revenue and drive the growth of supply chains such as China's lens technology, becoming a key product for Apple to revitalize the Chinese market. News highlights: Minister of Economic Affairs Guo Zhihui confirmed on the 21st that Executive Yuan Vice President Zhang Lijun went to the United States for the fourth time this week to negotiate reciprocal tariffs between Taiwan and the United States, hoping to strive for a favorable tax rate for Taiwan. The United States promised to extend the negotiations if negotiations cannot be reached before August 1, but the outcome is uncertain. Legislators questioned the lack of chips of the Ministry of Economy and Agriculture, and Guo Zhihui said that the United States attaches great importance to China's export controls and border protection, but the budget has been cut and raised concerns. The United States requires Taiwan not to restrict American beef, American pigs, and genetically modified foods from providing nutritious lunches in primary and secondary schools, and the Ministry of Agriculture emphasizes the protection of food security and farmers' rights and interests, hoping that both sides will seek complementary win-win results. News highlights: Taiwan Housing Group observed that the number of reverse mortgage loans handled by banks for housing for the elderly continued to increase, reaching 439 in Q4 2024 and exceeding 300 in each quarter of 2025, with an increase of 42% in Q2 this year compared to the same period last year. The average loan amount has also increased from a high of 667 last year to more than 700. Housing pension provides monthly living expenses for retirees, becoming a new choice for the elderly with insufficient cash flow. The North Base area accounts for nearly half of the cases, and the proportion of female lenders is higher, reflecting that women have a longer life expectancy and weaker economic ability. News highlights: affected by the typhoon's peripheral circulation, heavy rain fell in many places in Taitung today, 21st, causing Dahu Township Station to be surrounded by mudslides, muddy water washing into houses, and damaging furniture in many households. The southern end of the Jinlong Bridge on the South Ring Road collapsed, causing traffic congestion and vehicle tire punctures. The car broke down through the water, and the car owner was trapped in knee-deep water. The tunnel of Dahu Station on the south loop of the Taiwan Railway was also flooded by mud and rocks, and the train was trapped. The cumulative rainfall in many districts in Taitung reached 200 to 300 mm, reaching the standard for suspending work and classes, reminding the public to pay attention to safety when going out. News highlights: a woman in need of dialysis was unable to wade through the water, so she relied on the help of neighbors to carry her out and send her to the hospital. Residents had no choice but to say that due to the low-lying terrain and poor drainage, they would be flooded every time it rained, and it had been flooded for 3 consecutive days. The accumulated water flooded the calves of adult men, and motorcycles could not be ridden. Fengrongli has become a flood detention pond, and the water collects quickly, and the residents are miserable, hoping to improve the drainage system. News highlights: after the event, it was reported that a man broke into the office of the DPP headquarters and smashed eggs, causing defacement of the signboard and causing controversy. The police investigated and identified the 2 men involved in the case, and the 2 admitted that they committed the crime because they were dissatisfied with current affairs, and have been sent to the Taipei District Prosecutor's Office for investigation on suspicion of trespassing, intimidation and damage. The DPP said that it would strictly pursue legal responsibility and would never be lenient. News highlights: former All-China President Su Changren publicly supported the July 26 recall through social media late yesterday, 20th, emphasizing that the blue and white opposition parties do not rely on national interests, use their numerical advantage to push bills, and even threaten Taiwan's sovereignty by pro-China forces, posing a challenge to the foundation of democracy. He called on the people to protect the last line of defense for Taiwan's democracy with recall actions. Su Changren used to be the general manager and chairman of Uni-President Enterprise Supermarket, and later moved to Chuanlian and served as a national policy advisor to the presidential office for 2 terms. News highlights: the United States imposed a 25% tariff on Japan and South Korea, but Taiwan's tariff rate has not been announced, which has attracted attention. Former China Broadcasting Chairman Zhao Xiaokong criticized the DPP for deliberately concealing it, speculating that Taiwan's tariffs are about 32%, and that the government may delay announcing it until after the July 26 recall vote, in order to avoid the impact of the election. Zhao Xiaokong questioned the government's lack of transparency on important issues and accused the DPP of using the recall incident to shift the focus. Kuomintang legislator Su Kioxin also said that the DPP is worried that the Legislative Yuan will lose supervision after the successful recall, so it delayed the announcement of tariff rates to cover up public opinion. News highlights Zhe Yikao Payments parent company, Zhe Yikao Jinki, was seized due to the sale of 36 billion yuan of Taishan Group's equity, and Chairman Hu Yujia appeared in court in the North Court a few days ago, accused of breach of trust and fund placement, involving illegal profits of 6,000 yuan, and was released on bail and restricted from leaving the country until the 24th. The prosecution believed that Hu had assets and family overseas, and requested to extend border control and install electronic surveillance. Taishan questioned that Zhe Yikao Jinki's account was almost zero, and the funds were suspected of being planned transfer, while Hu called the company a pure holding and denied involvement in the case, and the case is still under trial. News highlights the two major ETFs in Taiwan stocks, Yuan Ta Taiwan 50, 0050, and Yuan Ta High Dividend, 0056, are ex-dividend at the same time today. 0050 dividend of 0.36 yuan, due to the rise of TSMC stock price to pull back, showed a discount in early trading, but recently increased by more than 9%. 0056 distributed a dividend of 0.866 yuan, the first reduction in nearly 1.5 years, and the stock price opened higher in early trading and partially filled the dividend. The assets of the two ETFs ranked among the top two in Taiwan stocks, reaching 6,644 billion yuan and 4,783 billion yuan respectively, and the market paid attention to their ex-dividend performance and capital trends. News highlights Japan's long-term deflation has led to companies being unable to raise prices, stagnating profits, and raising wages, forming a vicious circle of low wages and prices. This has led to a significant decline in purchasing power in Japan, leading to low-priced business models such as 300 yen beef bowls. Although the yen has depreciated, prices have not risen for a long time, wages have not kept up, and low willingness to consume has become the root cause. Experts pointed out that the decline in Japan's purchasing power is not only due to the exchange rate, but also due to stagnant prices and low wages for more than 20 years, making Japan a typical case of deflation. News highlights US President Trump announced multi-country tariff rates, Brazil is as high as 50%, and Taiwan has not yet received a notice. The Economist pointed out that Trump's real threat lies in taxing specific industries, with Taiwan likely to face semiconductor tariffs and India and Singapore potentially affected by drug tariffs. Trump has imposed 50% tariffs on aluminum and steel and 25% on automobiles, and details of tariffs on electronic products and semiconductors are expected to be announced by the end of the month. Experts warn that if semiconductor tariffs expand, it will bring major challenges to Taiwan's information and communication industry, with limited negotiation space and far-reaching impact on the industry. News highlights Shaanxi Xianyang Court recently announced a murder case. 31-year-old actor Zhang Yiyang cut his neck multiple times with a folding knife due to a relationship dispute with his 16-year-old girlfriend, causing her death, and tried to disguise suicide. The court sentenced him to death for intentional homicide, becoming the first artist in the Chinese entertainment industry to be sentenced to death. The investigation pointed out that Zhang Yiyang had long controlled his girlfriend with suicide threats, was psychologically paranoid, and could not accept the breakup, which eventually led to tragedy. News highlights in 2025. The transaction volume of the housing market in Taiwan will continue to decline, with housing prices falling in most administrative districts of the 6 capitals, with Tainan Jiali district falling by 16.8% and Taipei's Dan district falling by 3.6%. Experts pointed out that the loan restriction policy and the instability of the international situation are the main factors, leading to weakening buying sentiment. Although the egg white area and eggshell area have industry and transportation benefits, it is difficult to attract foreign buyers due to the long promotion time, small owner-occupied population and poor functions, and the downward trend of housing prices is obvious. It is expected that housing prices will continue to be revised downward in the second half of the year, and the lack of benefits in the short term will continue to be sluggish. News highlights July 25 this year officially enters the rare double spring leap June, with 2 beginning of spring and 2 lunar June, symbolizing auspiciousness and wealth in folklore. Numerologist Yang Dengsong pointed out that this is a rare opportunity to attract wealth and transfer, and if you miss it, you may have to wait another 11 years. He shared 11 ways to bring good luck, including putting new banknotes into the wallet, giving blessings and red envelopes, worshipping the god of wealth, lighting the god of wealth lamp, replenishing the treasury, wearing firewood-colored clothing, and filling rice jars with red paper, etc., reminding the public to seize the leap month to attract wealth and blessings for themselves and transfer them for a whole year. News highlights former legislator Lin Zhou predicted that the Kuomintang may lose the first wave of legislative recall votes on July 26, because the North City is defended by the main force of the Battle Blue, and once 3 or 4 seats are lost, it will be wiped out, and the capital will be lost. He pointed out that if the DPP does not win 6 seats in the by-election after the resignation, it will be considered a big defeat, and both parties may lose, but if the by-election successfully wins 6 seats, the DPP will win a big victory. Lin emphasized that there is no middle ground in this election, and the result is undecided, but the situation in Qianlong Kingdom is extremely unfavorable to the blue camp. News highlights People's Party legislator Lin Qiuchen was emotional and insulted President Li Qiang 5 times with 3 characters during a campaign on July 20, causing controversy. The DPP strongly condemned and demanded a public apology, reserving the right to pursue legal action. Lin Qiuchen later apologized on Facebook, admitting that he had made inappropriate remarks, emphasizing that he had lost control of his emotions due to witnessing the plight of the victims and his dissatisfaction with the government, hoping that the outside world would not blur the focus, and called on the public to vote against the recall on July 26. News highlights in cancer treatment: enlargement of the tumor does not necessarily mean deterioration. Dr. Liao Jidang, a doctor at Lingkao Chonggung, pointed out that about 30% of patients will encounter this situation, which may be due to pseudo-deterioration caused by immune cells attacking the tumor, necrotizing pseudo-enlargement after chemotherapy, or misjudgment caused by peripheral edema, or even a second primary cancer. The doctor will make a comprehensive judgment based on imaging details, tumor markers, physical changes, and medical history. Liao reminded patients and their families to face the report calmly, ask questions proactively, and make decisions with doctors in order to make the right treatment choice. News highlights: in order to prevent fraudulent cash flows, government-owned banks such as Mega Bank, Bank of Taiwan, and HICO have successively lowered the upper limit of ATM withdrawals. Mega Bank will reduce the single-day limit from 12 to 10 yuan from September 18, affecting 321 cards. For the third type of digital account, the Bank of Taiwan will reduce the limit to 8 yuan from July 22. The combined treasury was revised down to 10 yuan on July 29, which may affect 734 card holders. Others such as First Bank, Chunghwa Post, and Taiwan Enterprise Bank have also implemented the same measures. News highlights: the car of a man surnamed Liao in Meili was used by his father for drunk driving, and the Supervision Office suspended his license for 2 years in accordance with Article 35, Paragraph 9 of the Road Traffic Regulations. Liao Nan filed a lawsuit claiming that he was unaware and not the driver, and the Meili District Court ruled that only the car owner is not naturally responsible. Car damage and rental car losses are not within the scope of this case, and the compensation claim was rejected. The whole case can be appealed. News highlights: former All-China President Su Chongren issued a document late at night on the 20th, publicly supporting the July 26 recall, emphasizing that this is the last line of defense to protect Taiwan's democracy. He criticized the Blue and White Alliance of the Legislative Yuan for taking advantage of the numerical advantage to disrupt the government, threatening the foundation of democracy, and called on the people to vote enthusiastically. This move sparked heated discussions among netizens. Some supported it, and some opponents turned up his controversial remarks in 2017 criticizing young people for not working hard, questioning his motives. News highlights: South Korean President Lee Jae-myung promoted economic revitalization policies after taking office, and from July 21, he issued People's Livelihood Recovery Consumption Vouchers, which can receive between 15 and 55 won, about NT $3,184 to 11,677, per person, depending on identity and place of residence. Consumption vouchers are limited to small merchants, excluding department stores, online shopping platforms, etc. This move has sparked discussion in Taiwan, with some envying South Korea's implementation of subsidies, while others questioning the limited effect of distributing money and the need to pay attention to long-term construction. News highlights: the Japanese Senate election ended, the Liberal Democratic Party and Komeito coalition failed to retain a majority of seats, and the Liberal Democratic Party fell into the dilemma of being a minority ruling party in both houses of the House of Representatives and the Senate, for the first time in 70 years since its founding. Liberal Democratic Party President Shigeru Ishiba is facing pressure from the palace, and although he has stated that he will not step down, the anti-Ishiba forces within the party have gathered, and Taro Aso took the lead in expressing his opposition to his re-election. The outside world is concerned about possible successors, including former Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, Sani Takaichi, and others, and the era of post-Ishiba may come. News highlights: a 24-year-old female college student in Zhengzhou, China, was recently diagnosed with terminal stomach cancer because she loved to eat skewers of incense and ate roadside stalls almost every day for 2 years. The doctor pointed out that long-term intake of high salt and oil, irregular work, and rest, can lead to damage to the gastric mucosa and cancer, and remind young people to avoid heavy flavors and unhealthy diets. Experts warn that the repeated use of food fats in roadside stalls and the unknown source of ingredients may pose a serious threat to health if consumed for a long time. News highlights: affected by the low-pressure zone today, 21st, 5 counties and cities issued special reports on heavy rain, and heavy rain, which are prone to short-term heavy rainfall. Meteorological expert Lin Dean pointed out that Taiwan is located in an unstable large low-pressure zone this week, with a high chance of rainfall, and a tropical disturbance of 97W will occur in the eastern waters of the Philippines as soon as the 22nd, which may develop into a tropical depression to a mild typhoon, moving towards the northeastern waters of Taiwan, reminding the public to pay attention to weather changes. News highlights: a 3-year-old boy in the south was diagnosed with severe aplastic anemia at the end of last year and urgently needed a bone marrow transplant, but because there was no transplant ward in the southern hospital, it took more than 4 months to wait for transfer, and the lack of nursing manpower could not be admitted immediately. According to data from the Ministry of Health and Welfare, among the 121 bone marrow transplant beds in Taiwan, Shuangbei and Dawin account for nearly 70%, while Kaohsiung has only 6 beds, and the uneven distribution of medical resources is obvious. Experts call for improving the gap in hospital beds and nursing manpower to avoid a repeat of similar tragedies. News highlights: the wife of the Taiwan Steel Eagle and the Demon Eagle died suddenly on the way to Taiwan, which attracted attention. Doctors pointed out that long-distance flights may induce underlying diseases such as cardiovascular disease or ruptured brain aneurysms, and it is recommended that high-risk groups consult a doctor before flying and carry commonly used medications with them. It is also reminded to prevent economy class syndrome, move your limbs more, and replenish water to reduce the risk of blood clots and pulmonary embolism and avoid regrets. News highlights: US President Trump was recently photographed by the media with swollen calves and bruises on his right hand, which aroused concern about his health. A White House spokesperson said that Trump was diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency after examination, which is a common benign disease in the elderly, and there are no venous thrombosis or heart problems. Bruises on the hands are related to frequent handshakes and aspirin use, which is not abnormal. Officials emphasized that Trump is in good overall health and fit to perform his presidential duties. News highlights: sarcopenia not only occurs in the elderly, but sedentary office workers may also age prematurely. Studies have shown that muscle mass decreases by about 8% every 10 years after the age of 40, and by 15% over the age of 70, and half of those over the age of 80 may suffer from sarcopenia. The 5 major groups, including chronic disease patients, sedentary people, and malnourished people, are all at high risk. Doctors remind that risks can be assessed by observing calf circumference, grip strength, and walking speed, and by consuming enough protein, vitamin D, and regular exercise. Muscle loss can be effectively prevented and delayed.